Welcome back to the Oscar Project Podcast, the show where I discuss Oscar-nominated films year by year. I am your host, Jonathan Eacherberg, and today I'm bringing you an interview with Aryasb Feiz, director of the short film Tomorrow, which is currently qualified for the 97th Academy Awards. Before I jump into the interview, please be sure to subscribe to the show in your podcast player so you can get all the newest episodes as soon as they are released. If you like the interview and want to hear more, please consider leaving a rating and review in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Aryasb Feiz is a director, writer, and animator who grew up in Shiraz, Iran, and founded Bad Stash Studios, a cutting-edge CG animation studio in Iran, employing talent from around the world. His animated short film, Mr. Indifferent, has over 250 million views, has won numerous awards, and is used to teach kindness worldwide. Aryasb's commitment to storytelling and animation is evident in his deeply personal projects, and he joins me on the podcast to talk about his latest short film, Tomorrow, which is currently qualified for the 97th Academy Awards. Aryasb, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jonathan, for having me.
Now, your film tells the story of a young street urchin fighting for survival in your own hometown of Shiraz back in the 1970s. How is this story born out of any of your own experiences living and growing up there?
The story came out of months of brainstorming with Amir Zobi and Kaberu Intan, my co-writers. And we wanted to make something we hadn't seen before, a thriller set in Shiraz for adults. While I've never experienced poverty or a harsh life myself, but I deeply connect with the boys, choices under pressure, and I poured a lot of myself into it without even knowing it. Of course, always seeing, young kids in downtown streets working, it was always heart-wrenching for me. And also, I remember that when I was young, maybe 8 or 9 years old, we were asked at school uh, that what would you do if you found a bag of money and one of your family members needed it because he was sick?
Yeah.
So I think it was a very, profound question for a child in that age, and it had an effect on me.
Yeah, and you mentioned the child's he's fighting for his own survival in the film, but also that of his sick father. How does that title of Tomorrow fit in with that story that you're trying to tell of the boy and his father?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil
Sure.
anything for the audience, of course, because as the title is a piece of a puzzle that I think it's very satisfying for the audience to try to, understand the story. I think Tomorrow is a paradox for me. It holds both hope and uncertainty at the same time, So I think for this story, this duality, felt important to this story uh, because it's kind of like life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely some elements of that there. Now, you have several really interesting characters in the film, from the boy himself, the main character, to the shop owner, and of course, a dog that plays a very pivotal role in the story. Tell me a bit about developing these characters for this film.
Yeah, we wanted the boy to be tough, not cute, so it would be believable. And because he's surviving this harsh reality, uh, and it shouldn't be, the cute little boy that you see in mainstream CG animations. And we wanted the shop owner to be aesthetic, immovable, obstacle in the story. We wanted him to have a strong impact. So whenever the boy faces in the audience, feels the tension and worry for the boy,
Right.
the boy cannot match him physically at all, maybe mentally. And then there's a dog. He's the heart of the story, a silly, loyal friend. I worked closely with Mehdi Ali Begi our character designer. I think his character designs, brought out the dynamics between these figures. And since this story is set in a very specific time and place, it was important to capture that authenticity.
For sure. And I also noticed some really important aspects of lighting in the film. There's lots of, it seems like there's lots of shots of the setting sun and a lot of different scenes where we get some beautiful rays of sunlight coming through trees or buildings and windows. How important was it to get that just right? And how difficult was it to get the lighting that you wanted to create the mood for the film?
Yeah, lighting, it was a big challenge, but also it was one of the most exciting, parts for me because the story plays out from dawn to dusk, and the position of the sun actually works as a ticking clock, ticking clocks in the
Right.
thrillers. So we had to figure out the sun position in Shiraz during fall, and we aligned the sets to match the uh, match the positions that we needed uh, for the compositions that I needed. And I wanted the sun to feel harsh and unforgiving. The sun isn't just part of the environment, it's the eternal antagonist in the story. It's representing, the relentless marching of time. And the this harsh light constantly reminds the boy that time is running out, and it's driving both the tension and urgency of his journey. So the boy and dog seek shade under a tree or something whenever they can. Those brief moments of peace away from the reality of their life. It was also a challenge in a technical manner too. Our team even created a script to advance the time of day between shots, so the audience doesn't see uh, the moving sun, just feel the sun and the time.
That's really cool. I like that. And then as far as the sound of the film goes, there's no real dialogue, but there's a lot of, I'm sure, very important sound elements between the environment and the actions of the characters. Why did you decide to go that route, not having the characters speak, but rely on the sound of the world to help tell the story?
Uh, we wanted to make the story universal, and it's always better, for a lot less scale to be distributed. And also, I think actions are more sincere than dialogue. I'm not saying that dialogue doesn't work at all anywhere or something like that.
Sure.
But I think this story could work better without dialogue. It had its own challenges, of course, for me as a director. Maybe I could tell this story uh, in 6 minutes, in 7 minutes rather than 6 minutes, with dialogue. But I think the impact, is much better.
Sure, definitely. And now, as we record the interview here, we're headed into the end of 2024. I just wanted to ask if there are any festivals or screenings, anything where people might be able to check out the film coming up in the next weeks and months.
You can watch it right now on the Omeleto YouTube channel. It's free. For a limited time, you can watch it.
Wonderful. Well, we'll put some links to those in the show notes. Now, I have a couple of questions not specifically related to the film, but before I move on, is there anything else you want to touch on about tomorrow?
Yeah, I'd just like to say how proud I am of the team that worked on this film. Around 75 artists worked on this film for more than 6 years. And every frame of tomorrow is a result of collaboration and passion. It's not just my film, it's a shared that reflects so many perspectives and talents. And right now, the support and feedback that I'm getting from viewers have been overwhelming, and that's really what keeps us going.
Thank you again to my guest today, Aryasb Feiz. His short film, Tomorrow, is qualified for the 97th Academy Awards. The Oscar Project podcast is written and produced by me, Jonathan Eacherberg, with editing assistance from Joshua Eacherberg. If you want more movie coverage, check out the Oscar Project online at theoscarproject.substack.com. And while this is my last interview episode of 2024, there are still several episodes to come, including my next episode, where I will be giving some immediate reaction to the Oscar shortlist announcements next Tuesday, December 17th. Until then, I hope to see you at the movies.